This is a warning. The Grim Reaper of radio, Bob Romanik, with his off-the-record show is about to air. He's probably the nastiest and craziest son of a bitch that you've ever had the misfortune to encounter. The Grim Reaper show will be very controversial and probably quite tasteless. If you are even slightly offended by controversial matter concerning religion, racial matters, politics, or life's problems, you are hereby warned to turn this program off immediately. The Grim Reaper show will be, like his face, very scary and very ugly. At this time, not proudly, but shamefully presents to you Bob Romanik, the craziest son of a bitch on the radio today.
This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ, 1190 AM, America's by-state voice of freedom, radical radio. And we are, as always, proud to be the Patriot. Good morning, good Friday morning. I had a nice lady, a friend of mine that works at Schnucks, listens all the time, lives in East St. Louis. She come up and brought me a calendar. So she said, Bob, I'm tired of you saying that you never know what day it is. So I want to thank her very, very much for the calendar. It was awful nice of her to take the time. So thank you. It is Friday. It's a little dreary outside. Weather report's over. We're going to talk about this Confederate flag. We had a nice gentleman yesterday, Gail Red, who's the state commander, the Illinois state commander of the Sons of the Confederate Army, Sons of the Veterans of the Confederate Army. And I hope everyone, black, white, men, women, Democrats, Republicans, Martians, if you're out there, listen to that man. He wasn't a radical individual. He was an Air Force captain, 20 years. 20-year career, has 2 master's degrees, lives in O'Fallon, never been in any trouble. And he told you the way it was. I just hate it. And if you listened yesterday about the skinheads and the Ku Klux Klan and these idiots that adopted the Confederate flag, I believe that's the biggest problem. And it's not so much the Confederacy. These ignorant, stupid son of a bitches from the Ku Klux Klan and the skinheads, I'm glad they didn't really adopt the American flag as their front flag. And I know Gail said that the American flag was part of their tradition too. And that's okay. I think they're both a bunch of idiot groups. But I defend their right to fly whatever flag, to say whatever they want to say, because this is the great United States of America. I can't get people, I don't know. Are you people just dumb, stupid, or what? You understand this is the start of the finish for our democracy if we let this crap keep going and going? I see in the paper, in the Post-Dispatch, there's a black gal and 2 white gals. And one of the white gals that I guess is celebrating is South Carolina Supreme Court Chief Justice Jean Toll, a goofy-looking old white bitch. They're just laughing up a storm. This is a serious issue. Get the front page of the Post-Dispatch. They would act like they won the lottery. See, that's the problem. It's going to be winners and losers in this situation, and that there shouldn't be. At this point, we're all losers. But to have a state representative, the South Carolina Supreme Court Chief Justice Jean Toll and State Representative Jeannie Horn yelling and screaming and laughing. You know, it's not a game, people. It's not a game somebody won and somebody lost. This is the Southern people's heritage. There's a lot of people that were connected to the Confederate Army in the South. It's not a happy time for them. So rather than win a game and maybe shake the opponent's hand and say, you give it a good fight, a fought, and you lost the fight, they're saying, hey, in your face, And I think at the end of the day, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. It's a bad situation. And it's come down to not even a racial situation. It's a situation of freedoms in this country. Said it yesterday, the day before. You may get tired of me saying it, but that's what it's about. It's about our freedoms. And I have nothing against any black organization, any white organization. But now the NAACP, they're demanding this, demanding that. Hey, NAACP, you guys want your rights, don't you? Remember, you fought to give the proud blacks their rights, didn't you? Well, don't get your rights at the expense of taking other people's rights away, both black and white. Again, that's not racial. This is not a racial situation. This is a wrong or right situation, and it is wrong. The proud black people, they understand. The proud whites, they understand. But it's the political correctness crap that's going to kill this country. Got the NAACP in Connecticut, you heard me a couple days ago, demanding that the state Democratic Party take Jackson and I don't know the other president's name. I'm looking here. Take Jackson and another one of the presidents off their Democratic fundraising brochures because these guys own slaves. Now, again, I can't understand. Well, what happened to Washington? He owned more slaves than anyone. He owned more slaves than anyone. Let's take all his monuments down. If we're true Americans, if we believe in fair play and honesty, we got to take every one of George Washington's monuments down. Why is nobody fighting against George Washington? And I don't want anybody to fight against anybody. I love this great country. And I love what it stands for. But what it stands for has fallen. What it stands for has fallen. I saw that Confederate flag come down today in South Carolina. And again, I think the idiots that fought in the South, I think the skinheads that use it is their symbol, the Aryan nation, the white Aryan nation that use the bars and stars, the Confederate flag is their symbol. I think they're just a bunch of inbred idiots. But it makes no difference. You can be an inbred idiot in this great United States of America. You can have your beliefs. You have freedom of speech. Now, when it gets to the point where there's actions taken, like there was back in the day with the Ku Klux Klan, I understand that. I understand that. I understand when there was violent actions with the Aryan nation. I understand that. That's wrong. That's criminal. That can't be tolerated. But for what they say, for what they fly above their headquarters, for what they believe in, I say yes, they have every right, every opportunity. As bad and as pissed off as I am at what they do, they are Americans. This is America. We're losing sight of that, people. Anybody want to chime in? Toll free, 1-888-394-1430. On the east side, 394-1190. I guess I'm the only crazy son of a bitch out there that sees it the way I see it. The NAACP in Connecticut, that pissed me off. The NAACP in Connecticut, they're forcing, you get me? They're forcing, they're intimidating. This is America. You don't do that crap in America. The same NAACP in Connecticut that I know wanted to fight for the rights of the black man. Well, let's fight for the rights of every man and woman. You can't have it both ways, people. You understand. I don't know if you do. You know, maybe everybody's been drinking too much coffee in the morning or too much beer at night. But if they're taking that Confederate flag down for what it stood for, we have to take, but see, they're picking and choosing what they want taken down. Why wouldn't they want, if it was a true movement, why wouldn't they want every monument of George Washington, 350 slaves, Thomas Jefferson, over 200 slaves, James Monroe, all presidents, more than 100 slaves. James Madison, over 100 slaves. Andrew Jackson, that was the president I was looking for. They want Jackson's name and Jefferson's name, or Jackson's name and, yes, Jefferson's name off the Democratic fundraiser bulletin in Connecticut. And they placated those stupid son of a bitches. John Tyler, 75 to 100 slaves. Ulysses Grant had 5 or more slaves. Now, if we're going to have this mentality, this philosophy, let's do it across the board. We're not going to pick and choose. Hey, freedom for you, not freedom for you. Hey, let's have a lottery. You want to make some money, government? Let's have a lottery. $100 a ticket. And you pull out 50 winners a day. And the 50 winners, guess what? The 50 winners, they get freedoms this week. The other people get no freedoms. I don't see anywhere in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, it's, hey, we can pick freedoms that we want. Freedoms that we don't want, we'll take away. Even though the Constitution and the Bill of Rights says you have those freedoms, we're not going to let you have those freedoms. People, will you wake up? Will everybody wake up? It just pisses me off. We're going to go to our bulletin, but let's go ahead. Let's get a caller or two. Go ahead, caller. You're on the dark side.
Hey, Bob, this is Ron. I got 2 comments to make. One is that the national capital was built by slaves. And the other comment I got is there was a ag broadcaster out of Missouri. His name was Jerry Brownfield, and he made this comment on the radio many years ago. And it always stuck in my mind. And his comment was, in this country, everybody complains about everything. They complain about this, they complain about that. But you go to other countries where they don't have enough to eat, there's only one thing they complain about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But, Ron, I don't want to get off track on this, but they've taken the Confederate flag down. They've taken that Confederate flag down because of slavery. Do you agree with me or not for my premise? George Washington, as president, owned slaves. We've got Washington monuments all over. Our great nation's capital is named after George Washington. If that's the premise for this flag, then we can't just stop. If we're going to be fair for one, we're going to be fair for all. Is my premise correct? And we need to get rid of every monument of Washington, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, Jackson, Van Buren, or am I missing something here?
You're absolutely right. And when we do this, we're not, as a free country, we're under a dictatorship where they're dictating, just like they do in these communist countries, of what we can do and what we can't do, and we give up our freedom.
No, I agree, Ron. I don't know. I guess you're a proud white man, right?
Yes.
Are you a racist?
No, I'm not. I guess I'm a little bit prejudiced on one thing is I think that everybody should work and not get free handouts. I'm a little bit prejudiced to that. And right now, you cannot hire people to do menial labor. Like, I can't hire people that will clean my horse stalls out. I do it myself, and I'm 75 years old, or my wife does it.
Well, Ron, yeah. I agree with you on that, but now I got to back off one step. It kind of sounds to me that you're talking at that end more about the black community. And there are a lot of lazy, ignorant black son of a bitches. But you know what? There's just as many white, lazy son of a bitches out there. So let's don't make that. And maybe you didn't do that or want to do it, but I just kind of read that into the conversation. It's about laziness. There's black laziness. There's white laziness. And it's not this situation with the flag is not about race to me. It's about this great United States of America. I love this country. If you people listen to me, I love this country more than anything other than my family. I love this country. I love what it stands for. We can't change history. It is what it is. But now it's being made a racial thing. And at this point in 2015, the black communities, we were getting a little bit back together with the black communities. But you know what it is? These politicians, both black and white, these race-baiting bastards, both black and white, hey, they're getting a little bit too comfortable together. Let's have a reason. Let's have a reason to get it apart. And I think it's a conspiracy to keep the whites and blacks from coming together, Ron. I really do.
I agree with you 100%, and I didn't mean that was a prejudice towards blacks.
Okay.
Prejudice against lazy people.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad we cleared that up.
Lazy people want their handout, and get everything, and we bow down to them and give them everything. And that's the way communist countries run. They run under a dictatorship, and I fully believe that the way the governments are pushing for this racial thing, I think that they want to get us under martial law where they can take our guns away and everything else.
You know, Ron, thank you very much for the call, sir, and you could be right on that. You could definitely be right. It just pisses me off that people don't take a stand. Ron, I appreciate you calling and taking a stand. Now, you know, white and black, sit on your stupid asses. Don't acknowledge the problem. You know, hey, you got a little wound on your right hand. It's kind of pussy. It's kind of infected. Hey, don't worry about it. And when you don't address that problem, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And at some point, it may grow to an infection that'll kill you. And that's what's happening in this great country of ours, this great United States. The infection's growing. And I don't understand why people can't understand this. I don't understand why black and whites alike, why the NAACP said, hey, it was wrong. It was wrong what went on in the Civil War. But we as an organization fight for the rights of the proud black community. And we're going to fight for the rights of the proud Confederate community because this is America. Can't pick and choose who gets to exercise their freedoms. Got another caller? Go ahead, caller. You're on the dark side.
How you doing there, kiddo?
Hey, how you doing, Wendy? What's going on?
You know what really, really super pisses me off? People really don't understand the true meaning behind the Confederate flag. They need to go into history and find out what it really means. And another thing, if they're going to take down the Confederate flag, then take down every freaking flag there is around the world and put up one flag, a white flag, because all we're doing is we're surrendering to anybody and everybody that says, okay, let's bend over and screw you.
Wendy, thank you very much. Wendy, before you go, I want to ask you the same question. And this has been my premise since this flag situation came about. They're mad, and I understand, and I'm mad too about the Civil War, and I'm not happy about what the Confederate Army did. I'm not for slavery, but I'm for them flying that Confederate flag any place they want. If they want to fly it up their ass, they can fly it. But if that is their mentality after George Washington and all these other presidents owning slaves, if they're going to take the Confederate flag down because that was a symbol. You hear me, Wendy? That was a symbol of slavery. George Washington was an actual person who had slaves, who exercised slavery. Isn't that worse than a piece of cloth with bars and stars on it?
Yes, it is. But you know what also is worse? We're going to wind up having another Civil War because of this. And Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson will be the leaders of the next Civil War.
You know, I hope that doesn't happen, Wendy, but thanks for your call. While we're still on this subject, before we take our community billboard, Jerry, I won't mention his last name, from Mascoutah, a friend of mine. He says, Bob, they took down the flag in North Carolina, which means one small step for radical, lazy, anti-American wannabes, one giant step towards tearing apart America. And, Jerry, I could not agree with you more. You remember the guys up on the moon? One small step for man, one giant step for mankind. One small step for radical, lazy, anti-American wannabes. One giant step towards tearing America apart. And you people, you can think I'm melodramatic, but I can see it coming. I can see it coming, as you all, the proud blacks, the proud whites, we can all see it coming. And I just don't understand the mentality. Now, I guarantee you, let the NAACP and them start this. See, they don't want to push us too far. Not as white people, not as black people, but as Americans. They don't want to push us too far. And these other radical groups with blacks and whites don't want to push us too far, because if they were true to the cause, they would say, Bob Romanik, you're right. I'm the only one addressing this. You won't hear it on any mainstream radio station throughout this country. If The mentality is that flag flew and was a symbol of slavery, and we want it down. That was a symbol. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, James Monroe, Andrew Jackson, John Tyler, James Polk, Zachary Taylor, Andrew Johnson, Ulysses S. Grant, all owned slaves. So now what do you think had happened? See, the not just the black community, but the community that wanted this Confederate flag down. You think if they were true to their cause, and they would say, not only do we want this Confederate flag down, people, not only do we want that down, but we want every monument of George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, we want them off the dollar bills, the $10, $20 bills. If they were true to their cause and not hypocrites, I would somewhat understand. I would still disagree because this is America. But if we're going to take the Confederate people's freedom away from them, we need to take everybody's. But do you think the people that went for this flag situation said, oh, no, that's right, but we can't win that one? You can't pick and choose about honor, about principle. You don't pick and choose. You're either a principled person or you're not. You're either an honorable person or you're not. You can't pick and choose between honor and dignity. You can't do it. And I guarantee you that's why nobody's saying let's take down every monument of George Washington. And this guy actually owned slaves. But let's take down that symbol. Let's take down that flag, that piece of cloth with bars and stars on it that's never done nothing but laid there and flew whenever some idiot wanted to fly it for whatever cause he wanted to fly it for. And this may piss off some black people. I don't care. It's not about racism to me, people. It's about freedoms. And these guys are picking and choosing their freedoms. Now, if they would have come out again, hey, we want all Washington monuments down, all this and that, there would have been a national cry saying, no, we're not doing it. So they wouldn't have got that Confederate flag down. But they're saying, hey, this is the weakest old lady in the bunch, and we need to rob somebody. We need to hurt somebody. Let's get the weakest link. And the weakest link in this bunch was a Confederate flag. This is Bob Romanik. The Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, America's bi-state voice of freedom. For the meantime, it's free. I'm free for the meantime. Radical radio, and we're proud of that. And we are always proud, very proud, well, sometimes now, proud to be the Patriot.
From KQQZ 1190 AM, St. Louis, Missouri, USA, you're listening to Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio.
This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, America's bi-state voice of freedom. Listen, people, the guardian, listen, the guardian of the First Amendment, freedom of speech, radical radio. And we are, as always, well, again, most of the time, proud to be the Patriot. Hey, we're flooded with calls. We were going to go ahead. I was going to do the community stuff, but we're on this. We're going to stay on it. Go ahead, caller. You're on the dark side.
Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, DeMarco. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing wonderful. And you?
I'm doing great. What can we do for you? What's your take on the flag, DeMarco?
Okay, first of all, I'd like to say good morning to all your listeners. But my take on the flag is this. I wonder, out of 9 murders at a church, how did we come to the conclusion the Confederate flag was the remedy of the problem there? How did that tension become on that? Who put the attention on that? And another question, even with the Confederate flag itself, and knowing what it symbolizes and whatnot, because I'm a black man, proud black man myself.
Okay.
And I know the full history of it. I know the history of the South and the North. And how is it that we getting a resounding victory, taking down the flag in the state that we're losing voter rights in North Carolina, South Carolina? So we bringing no attention to that. And I wonder why the deflection of attention on the flag. Then I wonder why is me as a black man having kids and helping kids out here without seeing the Confederate flag, there's no symbolization of slavery to show them to even spark a conversation. So it seems to me that they're trying to wipe out anything of the history of that, because if you talk to young black kids at about 11 and younger, they have no really good idea of what black history is. So you have Ferguson events happening. I agree with you. It's more like a conspiracy of a situation, deflecting attention to getting to the root of the problem.
You know what, DeMarco, thank you very much. A proud black man. And I know he's a proud black man, but he made a great point. He made a great point. Why all of a sudden this killing of 9 people by a white guy now? That's my take. By a white guy with a Confederate flag in the background. What about all the hundreds and thousands of blacks that are getting killed in this great country every day? I don't see him. No. Don't worry. Let's take all of the national attention off Ferguson now. Let's take all the national attention off all the violence and the crime, the black-on-black crime primarily. Let's take all the attention off that. We don't care that people are getting killed every day in St. Louis. They've got 99 or 100 homicides in 6 months in St. Louis. Let's worry about this flag that never killed anybody. DeMarco, thank you very much, DeMarco. You're a true American, and I appreciate the call. Go ahead, caller. You're on the dark side.
Hello, Bob?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Have you studied history of that on the Civil War?
Not a whole lot, sir.
Well, you're not just pissing off black people, you're pissing off white people, too. The Civil War wasn't fought.
Wait. Why am I pissing off white and black people? Because I believe in this great country, the United States of America, and everybody's freedom. And if that pisses you off, Joe, you need to get your ass over to Russia.
Saying is what you need to do is, what it pisses me off is everybody keeps saying that the Civil War was fought over slavery.
Wait a minute. Well, you're saying I said that? I never once said that. And that's not my take on any of this. You better clean out the crap out of your ears, Joe, when you tell me that white people and black people are pissed off at me, because they can. Let me tell you what, Joe, every person in this world can be pissed off at me, because I'll shout it from the highest rooftops that I'm a true American and I believe in freedoms for everybody. Now, if that pisses you off, Joe, kiss my white, hairy, stinky, wrinkled, white ass. You understand me, Joe? Now go ahead.
Thank you. What I'm trying to get at here is everybody keeps saying that the Civil War was fought over slavery, that the Confederate flag represents slavery. 6% of the South owned slaves. What were the other 94% fighting for? You're pushing this vote for the person, not the party thing down there, and we need that. I've been saying that for years.
Well, we agree, at least we agree on something, Joe.
Was the fact that the South that had 30% of the population and was paying 80% of the taxes.
I agree. Hey, Joe, the Civil War was about states' rights. The slavery was an issue, a sidebar issue. I agree with you, and I'm not a connoisseur of the Civil War and all of the history behind it. But what I do know, Joe, and I'm telling you, you must miss my point. Maybe you're listening to Rush Limbaugh and confusing me. I've always said I didn't like the Civil War. It went with a part that stood for slavery, and part of it was a sidebar from the Civil War, even though it was states' rights. I don't give a damn about all that at the end of the day, because if we don't give a damn about freedoms for everyone, then all this other crap is secondary, right or wrong?
Agree.
Okay, well, Joe, hey, listen, I appreciate the call. I didn't mean to get so crazy on you, but I took it wrong. All I'm preaching, Joe and everybody else out there, I didn't think the Civil War was right. I don't think any war's right, but sometimes wars have to be fought. But my whole take is they should be able to fly that stupid-ass Confederate flag anywhere and everywhere they want. Not because what it stood for, not because I agreed with them, but because they're Americans and this is America. And at the end of the day, Americans have all rights. We have our freedoms. We can't take freedoms away from somebody without it being taken away from everybody. Right or wrong, Joe?
I agree. God bless America.
If there is a God, I hope he does, because something ain't right. Joe, thanks for the call. Go ahead, caller. You're on the dark side. Go ahead, caller. You're on the dark side.
Bob?
Go ahead, caller. You're on the dark side.
Bob?
Go ahead, caller.
You crazy son of a bitch, but you're right.
Damn. Go ahead.
You're right. You're right, as usual.
You're crazier than I am. What the hell am I right about this time?
The Confederate flag.
Oh, don't you, sir, don't you agree with me? Don't you?
I agree with you 100%.
You know what? Hey, listen.
I have two comments.
Go right ahead, sir.
Why is it right for those idiots from Islam and other places to come over and fly their flag of hate in the United States?
Good point.
One. And two, if you look back at Abraham Lincoln, he stated that our great country will be destroyed from within, not from the outside.
You know what, sir? You're exactly right. I don't have the part with me. I read it yesterday, and I'll kind of give it verbatim. Lincoln said, and everybody loves Lincoln because he was a great emancipator. Abe Lincoln said, hey, I don't believe in slavery, but I don't believe in the blacks should have a right to vote, marry white women, have a right to sit on juries, and even more than that. I'm for taking all the blacks, giving them their due, and then shipping them over to Africa. Now, what kind of guy, what kind of emancipator is that, sir?
I agree with you 100%, Bob.
Sir, thank you very much for the call. I appreciate it. Let's go ahead. One more call, two more calls. I've got Charlie America. Charlie, hang on the line. He's reporting from Springfield. I want to get to him. He's got some news about the budget that we need to get to, too, because, the past history is the past. We're working, and we got to be worried about the current history. But let's go ahead. Let's take one more caller on the flag. Go ahead, caller. You're on the dark side.
Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
This is Dave Peters calling.
Hey, Dave. How you doing?
Calling from Alton, Illinois.
How you doing, Dave?
I have an opposing viewpoint for you this morning.
Go right ahead.
I've lived in Illinois most all my life, north of the Mason-Dixon line, and I'm not a bigot. I believe there is no black or white. We are all human beings. You're missing the point this morning. History changes. Symbols of history change. I believe it's time for it to be relegated to history, not flown. We have an active Klan group right here in my area. Mm-hmm. There's another one in southern Missouri. They do more damage. They keep racism alive.
Dave, wait a minute. The Klan. Let's don't confuse the Klan with that innocent flag. That flag that's a piece of cloth with bars and stars. You're making it like it's the flag doing it. We can't help what stupid idiots do. What happens if they take the American flag and start using that as their symbol? Then do we get rid of the American flag? No, we get rid of the dumbass bastard Ku Klux Klan, right or wrong?
Well, we need to get rid of them.
Well, that's right, but what the hell? You're talking about a flag? I don't give a damn. I never seen a flag. I'll give you $1 million, Dave, if you can get any flag to walk up here to the radio station and carry a gun and say they've killed somebody in any war. I'll give you $1 million. It ain't going to happen, is it?
Nope.
Okay, well, Dave, thanks for the call. We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. And we'll come back. We're going to talk with Charlie America up in Springfield about this budget crisis. This is Bob Romanik. The Grim Reaper of Radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, America's bi-state voice of freedom. They'll have to cut my tongue out, and then I'll do my show in Braille, because this is the voice of freedom. Radical Radio. And we are, yes we are, always proud. We make mistakes in this great country, but we're always proud to be Americans and the Patriot.
From KQQZ 1190 AM, St. Louis, Missouri, USA, you're listening to Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of Radio.
This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, America's bi-state voice of freedom, and proud to be your First Amendment and all-American station, Radical Radio. And we stand tall as the Patriot. We're talking about the flag being a symbol, and Joe and whoever the guy was. Well, you know what? That flag, those Ku Klux Klanners. Well, I hope the Ku Klux Klanners or the John Birch Society or the skinheads or the Islam of black nations, black and white. I hope they don't have a picture of Granny Cupcakes, your Granny Cupcakes, on the back of their wall when they're giving us all this propaganda, because Granny Cupcakes and our Granny Cupcakes is going to be held responsible, and Granny Cupcakes never did nothing but make cupcakes. Some of the people out there, and I don't care anybody to call, but don't tell me I said something I didn't say, because I'll say what I say, you hear what I say, and I'll defend what I say. Go ahead, caller. We got Charlie America. Charlie, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good, Bob. How are you?
Not real good at this point. What's going on in Springfield, buddy?
Well, I flew in last night because what we had in Springfield yesterday afternoon is the Democrats went ahead in the House and tried to pass a 1-month budget. But while they were doing it, there was news out of St. Clair County, and Judge Robert Lasheen. I think that's Lasheen. You're going to have a civil war in Illinois now, Bob. In Cook County, they've ruled a few days ago that under the no budget era here since July 1, that state employees cannot be paid except federal minimum wage at $7.25. Yesterday, Judge Lasheen came out and said that all state workers have to be paid. Interestingly, so you got the North versus the South, Cook County versus St. Clair County. And what happened is the unions went to St. Clair County instead of Cook County. They're backed by Governor Rauner. This morning, this exclusive that I want to give to KQQZ is my sources are telling me within Lisa Madigan's office, she's going to appeal not the Cook County ruling, but the St. Clair County ruling.
Well, you know what, Charlie? You know what that tells me? That Lisa Madigan, the daughter of the House Speaker, the Democratic House Speaker, the guy that's been in office 41 years, that they're coming down here and appealing to St. Clair County. So it appears to me that the Democratic organization throughout the state of Illinois don't want to see these hardworking state workers get paid. Is that correct?
It appears that way. Governor Rauner is backing the 13 unions in St. Clair County, and Lisa Madigan is going to oppose it. And it's interesting because, if you look along the lines, you can see that even there in St. Clair County, electing judges is a very important factor. It can change the whole state, Bob.
Well, sure it can. And you know what, Charlie America, it's what they're trying to do. I believe the Democrats in Springfield, they're trying to hold everybody at bay. If they don't get everything they want, then they're going to say, the hell with the 67,000 state workers who have both Democrats, Republican, men, women, black and white, that have families to feed. They don't give a damn.
Well, that's how it's breaking out. As a matter of fact, one of the headlines in the papers this morning is, Madigan will appeal the state, the decision to pay state workers, and everybody went, oh, you better change that headline to Lisa Madigan, because everybody thought it was Mike Madigan.
Yeah, well, I got to say, Charlie America, and you've been all around this country fighting for truth and justice and honest politics and policies. I have to tell you, if it's Lisa Madigan, it's Mike Madigan.
Right.
So
I think that's how people read it. We're going to stay on this in Springfield and report down to you as things are happening next week, Bob.
Charlie America, thank you very much. You hear that, people? Now, Madigan, a Democrat, is going to appeal the ruling from the judge in St. Clair County that says every state worker should get paid. And I don't care how much a state worker gets. If they work, they deserve their money. They have families to feed. Union people, non-union, makes no difference to me. They have families to feed. But here, Madigan is going to appeal that ruling because they want the ruling, the Democrats want the ruling to stand that there's no pay, which will, in fact, they think, force the governor to sign legislation that he doesn't want to sign. So I would say for every good Democrat in the state of Illinois, black, white, man, woman, you see what the Democrats are doing to you. They don't give a damn. And if it had been the Republicans on the other end, I would have said the same thing about the Republicans because I'm not shilling for any of these no-good son of a bitches. Hey, I found out Amika Jackson Hicks, the mayor of East St. Louis. I had a gentleman say, you need to call her Amika Eureka, because when you reek of something, you smell. So I think her new name should be Amika Eureka like crap Jackson Hicks. They tell me that Charlie Powell, one of the big political leaders in St. Clair County and especially in East St. Louis, his son was, I believe it was the same son working for the county, who I believe, don't know for a fact, got fired. And Charlie Powell was all pissed off at the Democrats, Mark Kern and everyone. But now Charlie Powell's son's working in East St. Louis in the city clerk's office. The city clerk is Doreen Hoosman, a beautiful, a nice lady, a lovely lady. Very cooperative, give you all the information you want. She is a true public servant. But she's also good friends with Amika Eureka like crap Jackson Hicks. So that tells me that the mayor, who said it wasn't going to be business as usual, they're trying to go over because Charlie Powell was a staunch supporter, as was Alonzo Greenwood, that sawed-off son of a bitch, of the ex-mayor Alvin Parks. And now Amika Eureka like crap Jackson Hicks, she has reached out to Charlie Powell, to Alvin Parks, to Alonzo Greenwood, at the behest, I believe, of her daddy, Eddie the Gerbil Jackson, state representative, and the senator, Foghorn, I say Buckwheat Claiborne, because it's a dual process here. Claiborne wants to keep all that big money for city legal fees when the mayor, Amika Eureka like crap Jackson Hicks, said it wasn't going to be business as usual and she was going to replace him. So he's got skin in the game. Her daddy, Eddie the Gerbil Jackson, he didn't want Alvin Parks to run against him in the primary for state representative. So, all they did, people down there, was change seats, change positions. They didn't change political philosophies. It's all going to be the same. You're going to see it all coming together at their big their Obama Democratic fundraiser. I believe it's in August. You'll see Amika Jackson there. You'll see Eddie the Gerbil Jackson there. You'll see Charlie Powell. You'll see Alvin Parks. You'll see Alonzo Greenwood. They'll all be sitting together stroking each other. Stroking, if you know what I mean. Because that's what's going to happen. And for Mayor Amika Eureka like crap Jackson Hicks, you lying or you dying? What is it? Dying politically. If you're lying, Amika, you're going to be dying politically because people have already found you out. And I want to know, Amika, I've been down to City Hall. There's been a private investigator around. You're not spending much time after 5 o'clock at City Hall. I would ask that you take that $50,000 that you're not working for, that you're just taking from the hardworking taxpayers of East St. Louis for a part-time position. Most of your people down there don't have $50,000 on a full-time position. You're making $75,000 a year. Your husband working for the county making $50,000. You're making over $125,000 a year with benefits. I'm challenging you, Mayor Amika Eureka like crap Jackson Hicks. Give that money back to the city. Give that money back to the city. And then people won't care how much you work or don't work. Because you're not running the show, Amika Eureka like crap Jackson Hicks. Your daddy, Eddie the Gerbil Jackson, and the senator Foghorn, I say Buckwheat Claiborne. They're running that town. You're not doing anything but sitting on your big, greasy, black, bitchy ass. Now, you heard what I said. If you'd have been white, I'd have called her a white bitchy ass. And this bitch is not a gender thing. It's an attitudinal thing, and you got that attitude that you can do what you want, just like your daddy, just like Claiborne. And it's like 2 peas, 3 peas, 5 peas in a pod down there in East St. Louis. You changed the name from Alvin Parks to Mika, Eureka like crap, Jackson Hicks. But you, in essence, have the same mentality, the same philosophy, the same East St. Louis culture of corruption that you've had for the last 10, 12 years. She went right back into the fold, right back into the fold. She played a good game before the election, but she's just like the rest of those no-good son of a bitch, and not the public servants that are trying to do good in East St. Louis, but the politicians, the one that screw all of us day in and day out. Charlie Powell's son. I bet you it wasn't advertised. Now, Charlie Powell, just like Sam Swanson, they're taking care of their committeemen. You see how Eddie the Gerbil Jackson, smart move, smart political move, a bad public service move, and Senator Foghorn, I say Buckwheat Claiborne, they got together. They took care of Sam Swanson because he's a committeeman now. Hey, you're loyal to us. You got that supervisor's job, supervising 7 people when we already had 1 supervisor. We took him out of the workforce. Now they're taking Charlie Powell's son, giving him a job. So now Charlie Powell is going to be on their side. Charlie Powell's going to be obligated to get votes out. So Amika, I got to say, your daddy and the senator, at the expense of the good people of East St. Louis, you're starting to put that political organization back together. And why the hell did you run, I ask? You could have kept Alvin Parks in there, and the city would have been the same way. Not worth a damn. The city was not worth a damn then, and it's not going to be worth a damn now. And not because of the proud black people who are trying to make a living, trying to make East St. Louis better. It's because of you greasy, sleazy, no good count, rotten bastard politicians down there. You plantation Negroes who sell out to the white boys, which isn't fair to the proud black community. And I just hope at some point in time, the proud black community will wise up and say, we're not going to take it anymore. Let's not worry about that Confederate flag. That's history. Let's worry about the present. Let's worry about our families eating. Let's worry about our families not getting killed in the streets every day. Let's don't let a flag situation take away from the serious situation. Survival for all of us. This is Bob Romanik. The Grim Reaper of radio, and you've been listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, America's bi-state voice of freedom, radical radio at its finest. And we are, as always, proud, very proud, no matter what the circumstances, right, wrong, or indifferent, very proud to be the Patriot. Come on back tomorrow. I'm sorry, come on back on Monday. You can come back tomorrow. I won't be here. You can come back. But I'll be here Monday, and I'll be fighting for what I believe's right. I'll be fighting for this great United States of America. I'll be fighting for our freedoms that these rotten bastard politicians are trying to manipulate and take away a little bit at a time. Their mentality, you got $1 million of change on that table. We'll just take a quarter off at a time. These people won't know it's gone. They won't realize it's gone. And we won't. But if they take quarter after quarter after quarter, at some point in time, it's going to be too late to realize that they stole our money, stole our future, stole our hope for a great United States of America. Together, people, you hear me day in and day out. We can all unite. We can come together, Democrats, Republicans, independents, men, women, black, white, Hispanic. We can all come together and get rid of this bastard political corrupt system, not only in St. Clair County, but all throughout these states, all throughout this great country, a great place to live. We've got some rotten bastards trying to destroy this great place for us. So let's all unite and continue to expose, to drag these no-count, jerk-off, good-for-nothing, greasy, sleazy, political, perverted punks drag them over the political coals of hell. And at the end, you know what we have to do, like it or not. It's what needs to be done for the survival of all of us, is the survival of the good people of this country. We have to destroy these political parasitical punks once and for all. Destroy them politically, of course, right here on the dark side.
They're coming to take me away, ha-ha. They're coming to take me away, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha. To the funny farm where life is beautiful all the time. And I'll be happy to see those nice young men in their clean white coats. And they're coming to take me away, ha-ha.
The Patriot.
Your First Amendment and All-American Station. A division of Insane Broadcasting. Renegade Radio.
KQQZ, St. Louis.